At this moment in America, people are moving to new homes in new cities at the lowest rate on record. That's according to a recent Wall Street Journal article. Part of it is entry-level jobs that tend to prompt workers to move to new places, are hard to come by right now. People with jobs are hanging on in place, as are people who were able to buy homes when interest rates were lower. But after we shared our episode with New York City professional mover Adonis Williams, we asked if some of you are in the market for help with moving boxes. And some of you are still packing up and moving somewhere new.
This year on Labor Day weekend, I'm moving away to New Orleans. For the last several years, I've been asking the universe for a shift, to meet a partner, to have a kid, and it hasn't come. So at a certain point, I realized it was up to me to create my own shift and to answer my own needs.
I am in New York City and Woodstock, New York, and we are selling and getting rid of everything to move to Paris. I have multiple sclerosis, and the healthcare in France is very desirable. So we are moving for healthcare, for culture, and for great food.
We were married for 23 years, had a very happy marriage, but in January, he passed away. I had been wanting to move back to Chicago, and I thought, this is it, I'm going to do it. And I was a little bit nervous about making a change like this at age 67. But I thought, well, if I stay in Utah, I'm still going to be 67. I'm not going to be any younger there. So I just had to do it.
Hi. So I am planning a very big move before the end of the year. I moved to the U.S. 11 years ago, and I've been in New York for 8 of those years. And I wanted to make it work so badly. And I tried really hard, and I gave it my all. But I have come to the conclusion that New York doesn't love me in the way that I need it to.
This week, we hear some of your stories about moving, whether it be out of the U.S. or across the country, because relationships have ended or never materialized how you hoped, and also because of money, healthcare costs, or not enough work, particularly for those of you who do creative work. These decisions and turning points are heavy ones. Moving can stir up regrets, thoughts of what might have been. In fact, despair and suicidal thoughts come up at some points in this episode. If that's where you are right now, please tell someone, a person, not just an AI bot or an internet search. You can call 988. And also this week, I catch up with Heidi Reinberg, whom I first interviewed back in 2014. We talked then about losing her affordable rental on a Brooklyn block she loved. And you'll hear how she's kept fighting to return to that block multiple times. She tells me why it feels like home and the moment she learned she had to leave.
I got a text at night saying she needed to talk, and I knew, because this had always been my fear, that I was going to lose the apartment.
This is Death, Sex, and Money. The show from Slate about the things we think about a lot and need to talk about more. I'm Anna Sale.
The 7-seat Volvo EX90 is a car made for finding tranquility in midtown traffic with a serene Scandinavian interior. Made to help avoid potential hazards along city streets thanks to advanced safety features. And with intuitive technology and Google built in, it's the car made for finding the best bagel in Brooklyn. The fully electric Volvo EX90 is perfect for New York. Visit volvocars.com/US to learn more. Google is a trademark of Google LLC.
This episode is brought to you by Marshalls, where you never have to compromise between quality and price. The buyers at Marshalls hustle hard, working to bring you great deals on brand name and designer pieces. Because Marshalls believes everyone deserves access to the good stuff. Visit a Marshalls store near you or shop online at marshalls.com.
When you're moving somewhere new, there is the decision to do it, or news that you have to do it. And then, as you told us, there are all the feelings that come after that.
I'm 36 and I'm so ready to move. But it's a little bit fraught, only because I'm moving for my husband's job. He's in academia. Like, there is not a great salary in a postdoc. So it's actually like quite a lot of financial pressure on me. And I have a really successful business here that hopefully I'll be migrating to a virtual platform with, but like, we'll see.
We are selling our cars. And the hardest thing for me, I'm getting rid of all my clothes and handbags and shoes. And for my husband, who has over 8,000 records, he's selling all his records. Heartbreaking, but exciting, trying to live in the excitement and the adventure as opposed to the worry and fear.
My mom and I are in the early stages of prepping for a move from California, where I moved in 2020, and we'll be moving to upstate New York near friends. My mom has agreed to do it. It's an adventure for her. I'm really excited to go back to a land that knows me better. And I'm excited for her to kind of return to the East Coast and get to see those beautiful seasons as well as the tough ones.
I have been here a little less than a month. I am in the process of buying a condo, and I am very excited. I mean, it was a sad reason to have to make the move. I miss my husband a lot, but I am happy to be in Chicago. It's been a dream of mine for 25 years, and now I'm living the dream.
And so I'm moving to New Orleans. And in a lot of ways, it doesn't make sense. This is not for a job. It is not for a man. It is not for family. It is for me. As I pack up my house for a rental, sometimes I lay in the middle of the floor and just have a big cry because this decision holds so much within it. It's accepting that the family life I envisioned here in Colorado, the ski trips, the first days of school, the house with the yard, it didn't materialize. And it's also the fear of the unknown. But here I am, and in 2 weeks, the tires start rolling.
I have a really big move coming up next summer, and it's all I can really think about because I don't know where I'm going. I'm an international teacher in a small South American country, and due to a security incident here, I'm going to be putting in for a transfer within my company that is going to definitely take me to another continent, but I'm not sure which one. So I'm dealing with a lot of anger around my move because I planned on staying here longer. I wanted to give my child some more stability, but unfortunately, this crazy man decided to stalk me and attack me in front of my child. So I feel, and my child feels like we need to move so we can feel safe again. So yeah, I should know by December where I'll be headed in June of 2026, but I'm finding it really difficult to focus on the present school year and just life in general because of everything that's happening in the world right now.
It's become kind of unbearable at this point. So expensive and so tiresome, and there's no work for creatives. So I am leaving, packing it all up, terrified, heartbroken, but I think immigrating means that I'll always have a broken heart. Mending, but always a little broken.
The first person we caught in this liminal space of moving, saying goodbye to what she'd known, was Heidi Reinberg back in 2014 on the second episode of Death, Sex, and Money. Heidi, then and now, works as a documentary filmmaker, making full-length movies, and she's also worked on TV shows like House Hunters. But work has been uneven in her career. And when we first met, after years of on and off gigs, she had credit card debt, and in her 50s, she did not have a financial net. For when her landlord told her she needed to move out of the apartment she'd long rented and had a good deal on.
It was the one note of stability in my life. I don't necessarily have the money. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, it's just going to sort of boil down to that. And my goal is to sort of keep my family intact as much as I can.
When you say your family intact, who do you mean?
Well, my dog and my cat. I want to keep everybody together as much as I can. I mean, it's devastating.
How seriously are you considering leaving New York City?
I think I have to. I mean, I came here 30 years ago. I don't want to say I bought into the dream. I grew up in Texas. I never thought I would end up anywhere but New York City. I don't know why. I came up here my college year. My parents gave me they asked me whether I wanted pearls or I wanted a trip to New York City. So that was my graduation present. So I came out. I got off the plane and I felt like I was home. And that's not a story that's unique to me. I know a lot of people say that.
Where do you think you might go?
I honestly have no idea. And I don't want much. I just want a decent place to live in a decent neighborhood with people that I enjoy seeing in the morning, that I can have relationships with. I want home.
Hi, Heidi. I went to her apartment when she was packing up. Her plan was to go live with her sister in L.A.
I haven't decided whether I'm taking the animals yet, which is killing me.
She told me then that during those final days on her block, she was avoiding her neighbors.
You know, you feel like a failure.
I mean, do you feel like you're sort of slinking away?
Well, there's definitely there's a shame factor to it. I mean, I'll say that. I mean, I think you can talk to your friends about. You can talk to them about sex. You can talk to them about, depression. You can talk about health things. What are the other taboos? But you can't talk about money. Money is the last taboo. And maybe I'm underestimating my friends. But when nobody wants to hear that you're having a hard time making ends meet.
So when you think about your life 6 months from now, and what you want it to look like what would your day be like?
I guess what I would hope for myself in 6 months, because I can't envision anything now, but what I would hope for is that I do have a job that makes me happy. And I guess I am looking forward to the, time when I can leave New York and not miss it so much.
That's Heidi Reinberg back in 2014. My first conversations with Heidi, looking back, were as much about housing as it was about the reckoning that can come in midlife. We get in a lane in our early 20s and 30s, figure out how to make money we need to live, and sometimes forego saving for later. But then in our 40s and 50s, you can see the way these series of decisions compound. Friends with stable or lucrative work have more and more discretionary income. Those in fields whose rewards are more about service or passion can feel the strain as financial commitments keep coming. For many of us, the kind of work we settled on as young workers inevitably changes. Markets evolve, technology intervenes, costs keep going up. And when this happens in midlife, it's when you felt the sweet rewards of rootedness. So rootlessness can feel extra hard. Heidi did not stay in LA long. A year later, in 2015, she had made her way back to Brooklyn. I caught up with her then at her new place in the same neighborhood where she'd lived before. Here's some of that conversation from 10 years ago. You'll notice that I sound like 2015 Anna.
I am back. I have not gotten an apartment because I can't see spending the money to get an apartment because I'm on the road working like so much.
Wait, you're back. What does that mean?
I moved, what was it, June 4th? I think that was the date. I moved June 4th out to LA. July 7th, I flew back to New York City for a job. I think I went back out to LA once to see my cat and then ended up coming back here for work. So it's very clear to me that I need to be in New York for work now, and work has just sort of exploded.
Wow.
Yeah.
What changed?
It's funny. I don't know that necessarily anything changed. I mean, when I initially came back, things were really bad. So it was like I was getting a job and I was paying to board my cat out in LA. So it was like basically I was paying rent, as much in rent for my cat out there. So it was like I was living paycheck to paycheck. And things were not great for a while. I didn't see any reason to go back to LA necessarily. I didn't have work there, but I had the hope of work here. And I was working, I would say, like, going out once a month. And then things hit sort of rock bottom. My cat died in LA. I wasn't there. I couldn't afford to go back there. I couldn't afford to have Romeo cremated.
How much does it cost?
It was $120, and I couldn't afford it. He'd spent, the last month of his life at the vet's office in a cage, which was not the way I wanted things to go.
So right now you're staying with friends?
Right now I'm staying with friends, and I've been staying with friends, yeah.
Like in a spare bedroom?
In a basement. I call it the sensory deprivation chamber in the basement. It's completely dark.
Her friends, Tim and Chris, are also freelancers. They weren't particularly close before Heidi moved in, but they understood, and they held her accountable. They asked her what she was doing to find work, helped her build a website, had dinner with her every night.
At a particularly low point, they took me out, and part of the structure was, okay, you need to exercise. So we're going to go buy you some sneakers so that you can walk, because you can't afford the gym, but we're going to, and I was like, no, I can't accept that. And they forced me to go buy sneakers, and then I was forced to walk every morning too. What they did is they just created a safe space for me to be where I was, and that was okay. And baby steps, very much baby steps. So, because I'm like, when I got the shoes, it was like, I'm going to start running. Maybe I'll run the marathon. And they were like, just walk. Take a walk every day.
That's Heidi Reinberg in 2015. Coming up, more about how she started rebuilding back then after she'd suddenly lost her housing.
I've really learned, and it's kind of like not rocket science, but I really have learned like everything is a compromise.
We are still collecting your stories about how you think about or intervene to improve your appearance. We've been chewing on this topic ever since we talked to beauty philosopher Heather Widdows, who argued that beauty and looking beautiful has become an increasingly valuable currency in our society. We're curious about how you all are exploring that pressure.
Sometimes I worry that my appearance and the doors that my appearance have opened, those are going to close if I don't continue to look this particular way.
We've heard from some of you on the cusp of making a decision about whether to change your face.
The idea of getting fillers feels like kind of crossing a bridge. I would be embarrassed to tell somebody that I had fillers. It feels very vain. But also I'm curious about how it would impact my appearance.
We've also heard from those of you less inclined to change things about yourself.
I've been walking around with ridiculous-looking eyebrows for a few weeks now just because I've been too lazy. And I think there is a freedom in that.
Thank you to those of you who have shared. And one group we have not yet heard from is straight men. We know you're out there, and societal pressure to look a certain way gets to you too, though maybe not as much or in the same ways. Like maybe you don't think of your interventions as beautifying as much as optimizing, doing what you can to look more virile, strong, or just younger. Tell us about that. Are you considering hair transplants, or have you tried exercises for a stronger jawline? We want to hear from you if you are a straight man and you spend time and money on how you appear to the world and how you talk about it. Record a voice memo and send it to us at deathsexmoney@slate.com.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Audible's romance collection has something to satisfy every side of you. When it comes to what romance you're into, you can't be pinned down. Unless you want to be. You can find a book boyfriend in the city or another on the hockey field, or if nothing on this earth satisfies, you can always find love in another realm. Whether you are new to audiobooks or a longtime listener, the Audible app makes it easy to get lost in a romance. Like for me, I have this track record of forgetting to bring my book with me and then being bummed when I find myself mindlessly scrolling instead of reading. The Audible app saves me from this because it's right there on my phone, so I can dig right back into my book. And here's a recommendation if you need one. It's called The Ministry of Time by Callie Ann Bradley. I'm about halfway through. This is like a science fiction-y romance with characters that are intricately rendered and real feeling, and it's sexy with a will they, won't they plotline that keeps me pulled in. It's about time travel, and the protagonist is a time travel caseworker of sorts who is helping a 19th century explorer get his head around contemporary London. If you're new to romance, this is a good entry point. It was a best book of the year from NPR, Vanity Fair, Vox, and former President Barack Obama. On Audible, you can listen to modern rom-coms from authors like Lily Chu and Ali Hazelwood, the latest Romantasy series from Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, and Regency favorites like Bridgerton and Outlander. Plus, Audible has all the really steamy stuff, too. Your first great love story is free when you sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com/DSM. That's audible.com/DSM. Can you name all of your financial accounts and their balances? Most people can't, and this lack of awareness can leave money on the table. If you're looking to feel more organized and confident in your finances, you might want to check out Monarch Money. Monarch Money is an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean interface on your laptop or phone. And right now, for DSM listeners, Monarch is offering 50% off your first year. When I look at my Monarch account, it's really cool. I can see my credit card balances. I can see my savings balances. I can see how things in the market have gone up and down. I can also see how my spending is tracking next to how I've budgeted. And it's easy to share with someone else if you live in a household with shared finances. If you have put off organizing your finances, let Monarch do the heavy lifting. You can link all your accounts in minutes and get clear data visuals, smart categorization of your spending, and real control over your money. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code DSM at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code DSM. This is Death, Sex, and Money from Slate. I'm Anna Sale. Back in 2015, I visited Heidi Reinberg in her new apartment where she'd landed after being priced out of the same neighborhood a year before. As she got settled, she rejoined the local YMCA in the neighborhood, wearing those sneakers that her friends Chris and Tim bought her. Here's more of our episode from back then.
There's not a person in the world that says that exercise makes them feel worse. Is there? So I don't think it's hyperbole to say that Chris and Tim saved my life.
She's not living out of a suitcase anymore. And for the first time in a year, she's getting her stuff out of storage.
I spent 2 hours going through all my kitchen boxes and pulling out the stuff that we absolutely needed.
When did you move into this apartment?
So I've been in this apartment now, I guess as of April 1st. So I'm officially sharing an apartment now. I'm 2 blocks from where I actually was last year, just not by design. That's just the apartment that I sort of looked into. And I'm actually, my roommate is a 25-year-old. So sort of back where I started. I was like, when I actually came to see her and I got, found an internet listing. And when I actually came to meet her, I was like, oh my God, she's going to think I'm like Grandma Moses. And is this my life when I'm in my 50s? I'm going to be looking at roommates again. But it's worked out pretty well.
The apartment's small. It's basically 2 bedrooms with a living room in between, with the kitchen off to the side. But it's airy with lots of light and great views of Manhattan.
Check out the view.
Because you have to walk up 4 floors to get there. It's not the setup Heidi envisioned for herself a year ago. But after so much moving around, she's more realistic about the trade-offs it takes to stay in the city.
That's New York. And it's a lot of other places right now, too.
Can we talk a little bit about your financial situation?
Sure. You're going to ask me for numbers, aren't you? Okay, you can try. Sure.
Well, let's start kind of broadly. Like when we spoke a year ago, you had credit card debt and you didn't have much in savings.
Yeah, and I've got some in savings now from sort of a fluky thing that happened. I was working all through very, very consistently through, I guess, the last summer and fall. Well, once I started working consistently.
And the fluky thing was that just that you had consistent work?
Well, that was a fluky thing. But then I also just got a little bit of money from like a sale of some family land.
Okay.
So a very little bit, but it was like at least I could put that in the bank and just have it in the bank.
And when we talked a year ago, you said that you didn't discuss money with your mom.
Yeah.
Did you have to discuss money with your family as you were selling that land?
No, because we didn't have. I mean, my mom's still not going to discuss land with us, and it was below. She gave us maxed out on, so we wouldn't have to pay taxes on it.
That means the amount of money was less than $14,000. Heidi didn't want to tell me the exact amount because she didn't want to upset her mother.
And then that would be the point at which where a lot of people would say, that's not a small amount of money. That's, and I get that.
So you got a chunk of money that was below the taxable threshold. That's not like down payment money, but it's cushion money that you didn't have before.
It's cushion, and yes. And I haven't had a cushion.
Have you changed the way that you save and spend money in the last, since 2015 started?
Well, I have money to spend, which is really nice. I don't know. I mean, that's almost, I guess, sort of a luxury. I know I don't want to be broke again. But I do know that I don't want to pay. Like, I think when last we spoke, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to have to make more money if I want to live here. And if it costs, and seriously, at that point, I was like, if it costs me $5,000 a month or $3,500 a month or, whatever to live here, then I'm just going to have to make that. And now I'm to the point where it's like, I don't want to pay that much for an apartment anymore.
How much is your rent here, sharing with a roommate?
I'm not sure what the total rent is. I'm paying $1,350 plus utilities now.
And how is your credit card debt?
Oh, it's still there, and I'm paying it down. So I'm paying things off.
You said you don't want to be broke again?
Yeah.
What have you done to not be broke again?
I start worrying about running out of money long before I run out of it, for one thing. When my bank account gets to be a certain point, then I start getting agitated a little bit more. I tell people, I think, very pointedly that I'm looking for work. So I'm doing, I hate the word networking, and some of that can be so desperate, but I mean, I do sort of look, that's the way you get work.
You said that Chris and Tim saved your life?
Yeah, I don't feel like that's hyperbole to say that. I think when I went to live with them, I was just at the end of my rope. So, do I have it in me to do that? Do I have it in me to kill myself? Probably not. I mean, I've thought a lot about that, and it certainly felt like if there was ever a time that I was near that. And they flat out asked. But I think I've learned over the last year, like, I just have so many friends, and somehow I always manage to rally. And I really do think, are you watching Kimmy Schmidt?
I've seen it, yeah.
Okay, so, she says you just do it for 10 seconds and then do it for, you can take anything for 10 seconds and then do it for another 10 seconds and then start the counting over. And that's really, like, I was just at the point, like, I don't know the questions to ask I don't know the questions to ask. I don't know. I mean, almost like a corkscrew. It's like I just kept turning around and turning around and turning around, and I had no idea which, way I was supposed to take a step. And when you lose your identity, particularly people in my age group, we talk about reinvention. Well, by nature, if you're reinventing yourself, then you're shedding one identity, which you've lived with for 50 years. You've lived with it your entire professional life. And now you're being asked to, like, throw that away and take on, put on a new coat. And you've lost everything about yourself. And when you're confronted with that, it's very difficult to know where to, never mind knowing what coat you're going to put on, but how to even, like, go to the store to get a coat at that point. You lose your professional life, and you just, or who you think you are. I guess it can be personal, it can be professional, like, your marriage can break up, whatever it is. In my case, it was my home, and my life in Park Slope. And even if it takes a year to get back, it's like, I think eventually you do get back. You just have to do it 10 seconds at a time, as Kimmy Schmidt says. And eventually those 10 seconds add up to however much they need to add up to.
Coming up, Heidi and I catch up in 2025. She spent years back on the block in Brooklyn, but now at 64, she's had to move out of the neighborhood again. She ended up about 2.5 hours north by car in a town along the Hudson River.
There's a ton of artists up here. There's a lot of filmmakers up here. I don't know how many working filmmakers there are up here.
On top of building this fake volcano for months, I give my daughter Smarty Pants vitamins to support her brain health. So her science fair project sounds more like and less like. And while I may say it's not a competition, of course it's a f***ing competition. Choose Smarty Pants vitamins to support your kid's brain health and save the science fair. Shop on Amazon, smartypantsvitamins.com, or at Target today.
Eczema isn't always obvious, but it's real. And so is the relief from Ebglyss. After an initial dosing phase, about 4 in 10 people taking Ebglyss achieved itch relief and clear or almost clear skin at 16 weeks. And most of those people maintain skin that's still more clear at 1 year with monthly dosing.
Ebglyss, lebrikizumab LBKZ, a 250 milligram per 2 milliliter injection, is a prescription medicine used to treat adults and children 12 years of age and older who weigh at least 88 pounds or 40 kilograms with moderate to severe eczema, also called atopic dermatitis, that is not well controlled with prescription therapies used on the skin or topicals, or who cannot use topical therapies. Ebglyss can be used with or without topical corticosteroids. Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Ebglyss. Before starting Ebglyss, tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
Searching for real relief? Ask your doctor about Ebglyss and visit ebglyss.lilly.com or call 1-800-LILY-RX or 1-800-545-5979.
Just a few weeks back, Heidi Reinberg and I connected on a video call. Her hair is shorter than when I saw her last about 10 years ago. I think her glasses are different, but otherwise she looks the same. Except instead of being surrounded by Brooklyn buildings packed together on a block, all I could see around her was nature. Hi, Heidi.
Hello there.
It looks like, are you in paradise? I just see beautiful green forest.
Yeah, it's 9 acres. I do not own it. I rent.
We got back on a call together because I'd learned that Heidi had to leave her apartment in Brooklyn again earlier this year. And again, it wasn't her choice.
So I was there for 8 years.
8 years?
8 years.
Uh-huh.
And dun, dun, dun. And she had 2 boys, and one of them still lives there. And then the other one had been living, I think when he moved out, probably about 6 or 7 years ago, like he got some roommates. And like last fall, this is the dun part. Last fall, like in the intervening years, I've had to deal with my mom going into assisted living. As I put it, I was her emotional support child. She's mentally ill. She's got dementia. So it was a really bad time. And last fall, long short, I ended up going to rehab, and which was part rehab, part substance abuse, and part trauma, which was that part was super helpful. But I came bashe and a week later, I was walking my dog, and I came home and I will call her my friend because she was very much, it is still very much my friend, was standing outside watering her plants. And she said to me, I have something to tell you and you're not going to like it. And it was that she needed the apartment for her son. So that kind of really messed with my whole world.
Yeah. You were a week out of rehab?
I was a week out of rehab, and the whole time I was in rehab, I was talking about, like, I'm so lucky that I have this support system. I have my block. I have this apartment. And I sort of went, like, I literally went into shock, and I just said, okay. And I walked up the stairs, and I probably didn't leave my apartment for 3 months. We didn't put a timeline on anything. I was not in a good place. And then at some point, I just felt like I needed to leave because she needed the place back. And and I think it was, as dark as things were back when we met, I think it was like, this was probably darkest. So then it was like, oh, now what do I do? So my sister, who lived upstate, knew the person who owns this place. So I've been here since February 1st.
Since February 1st, 2025. Will you describe the place? What is it like?
It's a container house. It's made of shipping containers.
Uh-huh.
It's very cool. It's very Instagram worthy. It's 9 acres. We have 9 vegetable beds. We compost. We have chickens.
Oh,
which I'm not a big chicken person, but it's
charming for the chicken fans among you.
No, what we did. It's like what every person from the city does, and it's been nice. Is it home? No, it's not the same as living on the block in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been it has been difficult, like keeping up with my friends there. Mostly because, of financial stuff. It costs money to go back to the city. It costs money to go out. It costs money, same stuff that everybody's dealing with right now.
One of the people Heidi regularly keeps up with, the roommate she lived with 10 years ago. They were strangers when they met. Heidi in her mid-50s, the roommate in her mid-20s. And now they are very good friends.
We just clicked. I mean, I feel like when you get older, you're like, which is probably the worst thing to do, is you stop looking at roommates. You want to live by yourself because that's what you do when you hit a certain age, right? You're whatever it is, 25, 30, 35, 40, whatever. But I think that was one of the best things that ever happened to me because it was such a good relationship. Like, we genuinely loved being around each other. We'd cook dinner together. We'd sometimes watch television together. Like, I'm not what she was looking for at all. Because she's like, her relationship with money is not my relationship with money. Her relationship with money is like, I get a job and I make a lot of money. And I led with that. Like, she was going to do a credit check on me. And I was like, there's no point in doing that because it's not going to be good. So I'm just telling you. And I think I paid her 3 months up front or something, and so, they're living down in Annapolis now, and they're like the opposite of me, where they bought the first home and they sold the first one and bought the second one and have the kid and all that stuff. So I think it was caring about each other. And I guess what I imagine, I keep going back to this family thing of her being family. And even when they moved down to Annapolis, she would come up and we get together like every month when she came up and get together for dinner. And we've always been what I envision family to be. And one of the funniest things to me is my mom is always saying to us, you don't know what family is. Like, when I was growing up, we had family. And it's like, well, I do. That to me is what home is. It's not the apartment. It's not the structure. It is being around these people that I know will have my back. And no matter how bad things get, I know they will have my back.
Yeah. That's what I kind of hear as this through line, Heidi. There's been a lot of change in your life since we first talked together in 2014.
Yeah.
But there's this through line I hear of, even as our society has changed and economics of our society and the structure of our society has made it more and more difficult to nourish community. Like, you keep fighting for it, Like, you keep fighting for being in community, even though there's all of these, more and more it feels like our society's not built that way. And you're so clear that that's what feeds you.
Even
your neighbors.
I don't know, on our block, God, I'm going to cry. We are 3 generations in now, and we're starting to lose people. And, there was somebody on the block. I dated him like 30 years ago. He was one of the people whose apartments, because he had a couple of buildings. And he was one of the people who gave me an apartment for a couple of months. And I helped him paint it, and, when I was leaving. But a couple of years ago, he was really manic, and everybody was worried about him, and I was worried that he was going to get himself killed. And I was in touch with his brother and got him put into the hospital in Methodist, had him committed at Methodist, and spent like the next however long he was there, 10 days, I guess, going to see him every day and bringing him stuff. And that is what that block is. That's the way everybody treats everybody else. He's continued to decline over the last couple of years. Everybody looks out for him. It's not the way I was raised. The way I was raised was always that you do one wrong thing, and that's it, you're done with. You're dead to us, kind of thing. So I guess it's taken me 64 and a half years to figure out what family is. And so if I don't have money and I don't have, I don't have things in my life that, I will cling to till the day I die.
Yeah.
Yeah. So does that make sense?
Absolutely. And it sounds like you know how to show up for people.
I try.
Oh, I'm hearing, are those cicadas?
Yes, I think so. Oh, yes, they are.
So nice. So I love that sound.
I can go inside. Yeah, they just came out, I think.
No, it's perfect. No, I love that sound. I hope that nature is just holding you. There are not immediate answers available for you, but there is greenery and cicadas in nature.
There are, and I will tell you, it's funny. I will always be a city girl. As much as I love this, it's like if I could move back tomorrow to that block, I would. And I may. There may be another round of moving back to that block.
That's Heidi Reinberg. Stella, her dog, and her cat that I met in 2014 are no longer with us. And earlier this year, Heidi had to euthanize the dog she'd adopted after Stella. So she's currently petless, save for those chickens that she doesn't really like. And during all these transitions, Heidi has kept working on documentary films. A few days before we last talked, she got a final cut of a documentary she's been working on for years as a producer. The plan is to submit it to festivals later this year. And a reminder for all of you, if housing upheaval or job upheaval or anything is making you feel deep despair, in the U.S. you can dial 988 to talk to a person, maybe just for a helpful conversation or to get connected to mental health crisis support where you live. This episode was produced by me, and our previous episodes with Heidi were produced with Emily Botine and Katie Bishop. Thank you to radio producer Lou Olkowski for introducing me to Heidi way back when. Death, Sex, and Money is produced by Slate. Want more Death, Sex, and Money? Join Slate Plus to unlock exclusive bonus episodes at least 2 times a month. You also get ad-free listening across all your favorite Slate podcasts. You can subscribe directly from the Death, Sex, and Money show page on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or just go to slate.com/DSM Plus to get access wherever you listen. We hope you do. It helps support the work of our team, who include Andrew Dunn, Zoe Azoulay, and Cameron Drews. Daisy Rosario is our senior supervising producer at Slate. Mia Lobel is the head of podcasts at Slate, and Hillary Fry is Slate's editor-in-chief. Our theme music is by the Reverend John DeLure and Steve Lewis. If you are new to our show, welcome. We're glad you're here. Find us and follow us on Instagram at Death, Sex, Money. And I write a weekly newsletter. You can subscribe to that at annasale.substack.com. You can also reach us anytime with voice memos, pep talks, questions, or critiques. Our email address is deathsexmoney@slate.com. We love hearing from you. I'm Anna Sale, and this is Death, Sex, and Money from Slate.
Love is in the air, and it smells like your favorite Hut Lovers pizza from Pizza Hut. Fall in love with 4 iconic large Hut Lovers pizzas packed with toppings, including the Meat Lovers and new Spicy Hawaiian Lovers, starting at $12.99 each. But love won't wait for you to make up your mind. Hurry, get the hookup on a delicious Lovers pizza on the Pizza Hut app, where you'll find even more deals to love. The Hut Lovers line from Pizza Hut, starting at $12.99 each. No one out-pizzas the Hut. Limited time only. Additional charge for extra toppings, pan, stuffed crust, and extra cheese. Availability, pricing, and participation may vary. Prices for a medium pizza in California. Taxes, tip, and delivery fees not included.